We are coming back to you live from the San Andres Sports Complex in Malate, Manila for your MPBL Thursday on neutral ground for Nueva Ecija versus Rizal as the Rice Vanguards gun for their 6th straight victory. They're the 3rd hottest team in the MPBL right now behind San Juan and Binyan. And there's one of our hottest scorers in Alwin Alday, who established the season high performance by any individual, having scored 43 points in their previous outing versus Imus. Alwin Alday is back with a couple of his buddies, Marco Balagtas and Cranial Viloria. Rizal is at 100% health-wise, which is really important as they take on the star-studded Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Juanito Gregorio. Now, as complete as Rizal is in this game, may tatlo naman na hindi makapaglaro para sa Nueva Ecija at yan sina Will Macaloni, Billy Robles, and Lucas Collar. But it's not too concerning. Magpapahinga lang sila for some minor injuries. That being said, Juanito, this is a very important game for Rizal.
Yes, of course. Rizal right now is at number 8. But two teams are knocking on their door, Quezon City and Valenzuela. So this is one game that they really need to be able to try and win. I was talking to Coach Mario Gutera earlier and I asked him, Coach, kamusta? And all he said was, ayaw pa namin magbakasyon. And those are big words because they really want this victory here in this game. So we do expect a very good matchup between Nueva Ecija and Rizal.
So this is a game that the Golden Coolers would want to secure, as well as their last outing. That will be against the Marikina Shoemasters. Here is our playoff picture in the north.
Well, let's talk about Nueva Ecija first. They are safe at number 3 right now at 23-3. So whatever happens, they are in that they are with playoff advantage already. But Rizal right here, you see that Quezon City and Valenzuela only are 1 game apart para dito sa Rizal. And Quezon City and Valenzuela also has 2 more games remaining in their campaign. So again, this is going to be very, very important for Rizal. If they can get this win, they will be 2 games ahead dito sa Quezon City and Valenzuela.
But now let's talk about their opponents in the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. As I mentioned, it's one heck of a winning streak going on for them. They're peaking once more in our campaign, and their previous opponents were the Abra Weavers. That happened just this past week.
Well, this was a game that they really struggled to start the ball game. In the first half, Abra was able to take control of that game. But in the 4th quarter, they only limited Abra to 11 points, which mounted their comeback. You see the numbers right here, a very, very tight ball game. But they were more efficient in terms of scoring. They got more points in the paint. They also were able to run better. But Abra was able to really challenge it out in that last game. So a lot of things to learn para dito sa Nueva Ecija.
As you can see, that game happened here inside the San Andres Sports Complex in Manila. So this is like the new home court this week for these Rice Vanguards. Robbie Celis definitely stepped up in that game with 15.
15 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. 11 points in the second half. One of the reasons why they were able to get that comeback is because of their leader in Robbie Celis. And here today, again, another very important game para dito kay Robbie Celis.
Especially without Will Macaloni. Oftentimes, when Will is resting out, Robbie Celis becomes the best player for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. He will take on Alwin Alday and the Rizal Golden Coolers, who in their previous outing had a calm victory against Imus Agimat in that career game for Mr. Alday himself. And in that matchup, it was pure domination. Of course, despite that stat chasing for Alwin Alday, it was an efficient matchup for them.
Well, you see here the numbers. It was really a very beautiful running game para dito sa Rizal. 46 of the 103 points coming off that fast break. And one thing also that worked para dito sa Rizal is their 3-pointers. They made 10 in that game, 7 of which comes from Alwin Alday. So if they can play that same way against itong Nueva Ecija, I'm sure this will be a very interesting game para dito sa Rizal.
Now we'll break down just how efficient Alwin Alday was in that game. He did not even play huge minutes. Halos kalahati lang ng buong laro against Imus Agimat. A total of 23 minutes played. He took 32 shots, most of them in the second half.
Well, what a ball game para dito kay Alwin Alday. 43 big points, but not only that, he was able to produce in all the other aspects. 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, but more importantly, he led this team to a win for them to be able to try and protect that number 8 position. So today, can he lead them again? That is the question.
Alwin Alday continues with his routine in terms of wearing the same gears kung kailan maganda ang kanya nilalaro. Mapa-underwear man yan, mapa-socks, mapa-sapatos, mapa-lahat para kay Alwin Alday. He needs all the lucky charms that he can get in today's outing versus Nueva Ecija. Let's turn you over to Richard Campos.
And welcome to the second game. It's Nueva Ecija versus Rizal here at San Andres Sports Complex. The 2024 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 6 presented by Extreme. Here are the starters. Let's begin with the MPBL Season 4 champion, Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. At forward number 8, Robbie Celis. The other forward number 18, John Wilson. Guard number 27, Chris Biton. Playing center number 30, Vince Magbuhos. And at two guard number 51, Big Bang Toto, Byron Villarias. The head coach is Don Dulay. Assistant coaches Rob Wainwright, Matt Macalintal, Arnold Oliveros, Rick Season, Derek Evangelista, Jonathan Oiloan. Assistant team manager Jen Dignadice, team manager Raymond Dizon, team owners Ivan Cuevas and Bong Cuevas. Now the starters for Rizal Central Mall Golden Coolers. Small forward number 1, Graniel Viloria. The other forward number 7, Marco Paulo Balagtas. Guard number 14, Coco Pingoy. Two guard number 17, Alwin Alday. Playing center number 37, John Apacible. The head coach is Ralph Emerson Rivera. Assistant coaches Don Villamin, Christian Coronel, Mario Gutera, and Francis Cruz. The team manager Kyle Cruz. Team owners Joel Conde and Sandre Cruz.
We are back with the original starting 5 of the Rizal Golden Coolers. These are brought to you by Sports Max, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the Max, Coco Pingoy, Alvin Alday, John Apacible, Marco Balagtas, and Graniel Viloria versus Chris Biton, Byron Villarias, Vince Magbuhos, Robbie Celis, and John Wilson. Star-studded as they come for the Nueva Ecijanos. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Juanito Gregorio and Sidney Crespo. We will never get tired of reiterating that we have huge playoff implications for the Golden Coolers in this game, as somewhere out there, Val City and QC are watching for sure. That's a nice play by Nueva Ecija.
What a perfect start for Nueva Ecija. Perfect execution of that handoff to a roll from John Wilson going to Vince Magbuhos.
Alday doubled quickly. What a steal. It's Byron on the move. Villarias all the way.
This is a veteran 5 by Nueva Ecija to start the ball game, but the energy is on point to start. First 30 seconds, already 4 points para dito sa Nueva Ecija.
How about this defense? A lot of pressure being applied by Nueva Ecija, and it results into another turnover. Piton feeds and Magbuhos will finish.
You know, that's one thing I love about Vince Magbuhos, the way he moves without that basketball. Even on a full court fast break opportunity, he will run with the best of them. And already 4 points para dito kay Vince.
Back with Rizal. Trying to counter this defense by Nueva Ecija. Graniel Viloria back at 100%. And he scores.
What a crossover for Graniel Viloria. That shoulder hesitation, talagang mapapasayaw ka na lang para dun sa crossover nitong si Graniel.
He's the number 1 shot creator for the Rizal Golden Coolers, whether it may be with his scoring or passing ability, as it's John Wilson answering back. 8-2. Back with Graniel. Fresh off of his back injury. It's a steal for John. Wilson slowing down. Robbie Celis bounces. Biton. Cross court. Byron to John. Wilson for 3. No bounce.
Might be a miss for Nueva Ecija, but that's already 3 steals here in the first 2 minutes of the ball game, all coming from the passing lane. So they are reading the plays well of Rizal.
And it's good that we're able to highlight that, especially when it comes to Chris Biton, Byron Villarias, and John Wilson, as Balagtas scores inside. Because we've known these 3 guards as offensive weapons in the MPBL.
That's right. But here to start the ball game, they're playing terrific defense, especially off ball. They're not the ones pressuring, but they are the ones that are trying to go for the steal.
It's their way of proving to us that they are two-way players after all. Nice pass. Celis for two.
That pick and roll ball game has been on point para dito sa Rizal to start this game. They're reading the situation very well, and so far, whenever someone is helping, they are locating that wide open guy on the roll.
This play of the game is brought to you by Suzuki. Chris Biton with dime number 3 for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. That's the second in this matchup, finding one of the all-time greats of our league in Robbie Celis. Again, this is what he tends to do when Will Macaloni is sitting out. 10-4.
Welcome back to the MPBL. The Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards are booked, busy, and winning against some of the top teams, both in the North and South Division. But their 5-game winning streak doesn't mean anything until they survive the playoffs. Coach Don Dulay puts an emphasis on this and prioritizes being mentally focused in the next coming weeks. Tonight, wala munang Will Macaloni, Jay Collado, JC Collar at Billy Robles na nagpapahinga at nagpapagaling sa kanilang mga mild injuries mula last game versus Abra. Coach Don Dulay reiterated that everyone wants to play, but they have to be smart and let these guys rest for the tough playoffs ahead. Back to you guys.
Natawa lang ako ng onti kasi nakikita natin dito nanonood sina Will Macaloni, JC Collar, and Billy Robles.
Yes.
I wonder where Jay Collado is.
Baka nagpapamasaya. I saw that matchup against Abra. That was such a physical matchup down low. So baka nararamdaman pa rin niya yung body pain. Shout out sa you, Jay, if you're watching this ball game.
And we hope that you're enjoying your well-deserved rest as we take a look at our field goal story. Much better for Nueva Ecija.
5 of 6, actually a lot more opportunities for Nueva Ecija. +4 already to start this ball game. It's the turnovers for Rizal here.
Viloria able to convert. Welcome back, Raniel Viloria.
Rizal is actually perfect in the field. They are 3 out of 3 here to start, but they are giving up a few turnovers here to start the game.
They have as many turnovers compared to their field goals. Celis pulls up. In and out, rebound, Raniel. He is in the top 10 in that category, averaging 6.1 defensive rebounds per game. Apacible misfires. And here's Robbie Celis. He can practically play all roles, all positions on the floor.
Oh, that is how versatile itong si Robbie Celis is. That's why I love watching him. You need him as a guard, you need him as a big. He will step up wherever he is needed.
Craniel on the other end. The feed to Alwin at the corner. No bounce. Rebound Celis. They push. 2-on-1. Villarias. Biton. Byron. Sorry, miss on the layup.
It's good defense by Marco Balagtas, challenging the layup lane of Byron Villarias.
Alwin lobbing it up. Apacible is blocked. And that's what Robbie Celis has been known for as well this season. One of the best in the league in shot blocking.
I have to credit the defense of Nueva Ecija to start this ball game. They're recovering quickly whenever they miss or they make this any error. They are quick to go down defensively.
10-6, Pingoy, no foul. There's the bucket.
Good slow drive by Coco Pingoy right there off the screen. His defender was on the back, reading the situation perfectly, getting that floater in.
This is a nice response by the starting 5 of the Golden Coolers. And that's very important because they do rely on their starting 5 a lot. So kung mahina na yung simula nila, mahirap na talaga yan.
Yes, the bench will struggle.
66% of the points of the Golden Coolers come from these 5 players. Alwin Alday does average 18 per outing. He's 3rd best in the league in that category. He will shoot from the line as Chad Alonzo checks in.
We've been talking about the matchups of the players, but let's talk about the matchup of the coaches. These are 2 well-respected coaches, really have good culture in their teams. And I do expect that whenever one team adjusts, the other will also adjust. It's going to be a good chess match.
Alday converts. There you see Coach Ralph Rivera, very organized as the head coach of Fatima University and the Rizal Golden Coolers. He has achieved a lot already on his first stint in the MPBL, including some wins against the Titans of the league. Rizal is the only squad to win versus Pampanga and San Juan. They also defeated South Cotabato. Now we have a deadlock. This fan of the game is brought to you by Jinky Skin. Great to have her inside the San Andres Sports Complex in Manila. She's been here since the first game between Parañaque and Imus, where the Patriots were able to achieve an individual record for Philip Manalang. He finished the game with 23 assists, the best and the most by any player in the league's history. That's over Marvin Taiwan's and Marcia Arellano's career highs individually. But now we're back with Nueva Ecija and Rizal. Magbuhos goes to Wilson, screened by Celis. John Wilson off of the switch. He pulls up. No, it was actually a pass onto the cutter.
A good read by Vince Magbuhos. Last second cut. Everybody was looking at the ring, but he was able to see that there was a cutting lane. Getting that ball, getting that foul.
Now, before this game, Juanito had a brief conversation with me about what he sees in this guy.
You know, this is a guy that can really help out itong Nueva Ecija. A lot of veterans, but his energy inside, the inside presence, and his length. You know, I was watching him in Adamson, and I never realized how tall and how long this guy really was. But now watching him in Nueva Ecija, he can really contribute a lot, especially moving without that basketball, playing terrific defense, and running with this squad. So a very important piece para sa Nueva Ecija entering the playoffs.
Off of the conversion by Magbuhos. They're halfway done in the opening quarter. Rice Vanguards are up by 2. Pingoy, double teamed. Pass to the corner. Viloria will shoot. That's good. What a start for Cranial.
It's going to be a long 2 para dito kay Cranial. Viloria. He's asking for the 3 from the referee, but the referee saying there was a step.
Viloria actually was supposed to join in our 3-point shootout, but because of his back injury, he wasn't able to fly to Zamboanga. As now there is a foul called on that supposed post-up sequence for John Wilson.
Let's watch that again.
Yeah, that's a 2.
Just at the edge. Sharp eyes by our referee to see that that was a 2. Could have been a chance for them to get the lead.
Deadlock at 12. Celis. Kick out. Magbuhos. Baseline drive. Magbuhos is blocked. Good defense by Balagtas.
Oh, good challenge by Marco Balagtas up top against a much taller Vince Magbuhos.
And here's Coco Pingoy. Screened by Alonzo. This is a mismatch between 2 former Adamsonians. Pingoy from downtown.
Oh, you see the frustration of Vince Magbuhos. That was good defense. Just better offense by the former UAAP Juniors MVP.
Now Rizal has the advantage. Their first lead in this game. Nice pass to Celis from Chris Biton.
Oh, what a find by Chris Biton off that drive on the blind entry. No one was really locating ito si Robbie Celis.
That's 4 points for Celis and 3 dimes already for Chris Biton. Chris hasn't even attempted a single shot.
I think he doesn't want to challenge Philip Manalang for that record.
It's going to be a long way to go though. Viloria, 2 on the shot clock. Cranial lost the ball. Turnover spiling up for Rizal. Oh, that's a charge by Vince.
It's a good read by Jerry Pingoy. So far, he's been winning the matchup against Vince offensively and defensively. He knew that Vince just had too much rhythm to stop. And just read that he can get that charge. Galing dito kay Vince Magbuhos. Good read. The ball will return for Rizal.
And that's what you have to love about Coco Pingoy, the pride that he has for his defense. But now he will have to play defense against different players as Mocon, Saldua, Ayaay, and Dakiwag now join Robbie Celis. This is a big lineup for Nueva Ecija.
Yes, they're going to put Mocon at that point guard position. A guy who plays either that 1 or 2, but they just want to play a little bit more physical on the defensive end, lalo na dito kay Coco Pingoy.
That's going to be a nice matchup. As now there's a foul called on Nueva Ecija. It's a sideline inbound for the Golden Coolers. Cranial Viloria will take it out. The guy who averages the most assists for Rizal at 5.7. He's number 7 in the league as well in that category. Gamalinda goes to Cranial. Viloria still at it. 5 on the shot clock. Cranial, tough shot, no good. Rebound to nobody. Ball out of bounds in favor of Rizal.
Only Cranial Viloria, even if he's well challenged, can actually have the ability to shoot that fader. They're lucky even with that miss. The ball will return to Rizal.
Here's Chad Alonzo. Hand off to Cranial. It's Bam Bam Gamalinda against MJ Ayaay. Bam Bam, turn around. That's a shot.
It's automatic para dito kay Bam Bam Gamalinda. From San Beda all the way to the pros, that has been a staple para kay Bam Bam.
And I heard our marketing head, Seth Amora, shout Kobe as Gamalinda did that turnaround. On the other end, no basket for another guy who idolizes Kobe and Robbie Celis. Ayaay will shoot. No good. Ball out of bounds.
And after a strong start from Nueva Ecija, Rizal was quick to answer. You know the hunger of Rizal to be able to get this win. So you really can see the efforts that they're giving here as we see this fader. What a beauty. Galing dito kay Bam Bam Gamalinda. They may say Kobe, but I would rather say Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki. One-legged at that. You know, we can actually give it to Bam Bam that's his patent here in the MPBL.
Oh, yes.
Almost a turnover. Rizal already has 4. Just to remind everybody, Marco Balagtas from downtown.
That's a shot. Marco Balagtas, given that space from the outside, he really can take that and make that. That's just too much space para dito kay Marco Balagtas.
5 points for Marco, who injured his MCL recently. He's slowly but surely getting back to 100%. Mocon inside. Saldua is fouled.
What a no-look pass. Everybody was fake. He was looking at the corner kay Ed Dakiwag. Everybody followed the eyes of Kenneth Mocon, but someone was rolling through the middle. Saldua will be fouled.
But I'm sure Rizal also had to give respect to the three-point shooting ability of Ed Dakiwag. He is in the top 10 in the whole of the MPBL in that category. As Chester Saldua converts on his first free throw. He's also a returning player for Nueva Ecija after having back spasms, which he started experiencing during practice because he collided with Robbie Celis. That's just another testament na hardcore talaga ang training ng Rice Vanguards. 80 seconds before the end of one. Val Chauca.
Almost an 8-second violation with defense by Mocon.
Chauca still at it. This is his second game back in the MPBL. Off of the switch. Chauca will dance. Tough shot. That bounces in.
He was the one who brought down that ball, wanted the one-on-one, and he will finish that half-court game. Such a skilled player in Val Chauca.
22-16. Mocon goes to Ayaay. MJ on the feed. Dakiwag will shoot. There you go.
Good drive and kick. Galing dito kay Jasper Ayaay to Ed Dakiwag. Two veterans on that wing position.
22-19. Rocky Asidre now against Chester Saldua. This is supposed to be a mismatch. Rocky will fire and miss. Rebound to Bahio. JB dribbles. He lost the ball, but he's able to recover. 4-second differential. Ayaay fakes. MJ bounces. Nice feed. Back to Ed Dakiwag.
Same guy is making that connection. Jasper Ayaay to Ed Dakiwag. 2 straight assists, 5 straight points para kay Ed.
6 seconds to go. A 1-point game. There's a foul to give. That
Smart
should be
foul.
the last.
That's a smart foul. Quick recognition by Nueva Ecija that they had one more foul to give.
Salcedo will check in for Balagtas. So it has to be honest defense now for the Rice Vanguards. Sideline inbound for Rocky Asidre. 3.8 to work with. Bam Bam. Ready for it. Gamalinda will shoot. No good. That's going to do it for our first 10 minutes.
Good start coming from Nueva Ecija. This was a game that they were really able to get a lot of steals to start the ball game. 6 fast break points in the first 2 minutes of the first quarter. But after that timeout by Rizal, they were able to recover right away. We do know how important this game for them is. So they were able to get this lead back, of course, led by that guy, Craniel Viloria. And in this game, they are now leading by 1 point to end the first frame.
Viloria is the leading scorer of Rizal with 6 to try to counter the 4 of Robbie Celis, who is the third leading scorer of Nueva Ecija behind Magbuos' 6 and Dakiwag's 5. There's Marco Balagtas, also with 5 points, tied with Coco Pingoy. This first quarter score is brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending, GameX. Babalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. This is Mix Gomez alongside Juanito Gregorio and Sidney Crespo, present inside the San Andres Sports Complex in Manila, neutral ground for your MPBL Thursday. This is our second game following the victory of Parañaque after scoring 111 points with 23 assists coming from Philip Manalang against Imus. And later on, it's Batangas City taking on Sarangani. Now we have a much tighter ball game with these shooting percentages.
And really, you see the offensive prowess of both of these teams. Rizal at 60%. The only thing really that hindered them in the first quarter are the few turnovers they had in the few minutes. But on the other end, Nueva Ecija also playing good offense with 53%.
Wow, how about the physicality in that sequence? No conversion for Bajío. I was about to say that, as you pointed out, the turnovers of Rizal, they have 4 in total. 3 of those came in the first 2 minutes, right?
Those 3 steals coming off that passing lane actually get 6 points to start the ball game para sa Nueva Ecija.
Credit that to the defense of John Wilson, Chris Biton, and Byron Villarias. Bajío back at it. JB attacks and feeds. Dakiwag, same look. Different result. Rebound to Papa Chad. Chauca asking for the screen. Instead, he gives it up to Alonzo. Chad up top to Rocky. Man down for Nueva Ecija. Gamalinda faking the spin. Then he lost the ball.
Good defense by JB Bajío there.
Ayay fouled. There's a hold.
Oh, there's got to be a lucky foul para dito sa Rizal. That was a 4 versus 2 fast break opportunity for Nueva Ecija. So they would rather take that foul and actually put it on a half-court setup.
Baseline inbound. Steal story, 5-1. Explaining the turnovers.
There's a warning. Coach Don Dulay. I didn't actually see the reaction because he has the same pose for 4 quarters.
Yeah. Well, that pose, that type of calmness in the MPBL has helped him out. He's already a championship-winning coach back in Season 3 with Davao Occidental. This is Salcedo escaping and scoring.
No, this is one guy that really played a lot of years in the 3x3 division. So you do know that in the half-court setup, he has that advantage, especially with that length.
Saldua, that's good. That's also a former 3x3 player.
You see actually the way they play. That on the half-court setups, they do know how to play without that basketball. That's very important in the 3x3 setup.
First 3 points for Chester Saldua. Check that. He now has 5 on his return for Nueva Ecija. Chauka misfires. Rebound. And the Longanisa shot for Papa Chad.
I like this Chad Alonzo and Bam Bam Gamalinda combination inside the court. They're showing us textbook footwork on the inside. Ang sarap panoorin sa mata because this is a lost art in basketball. That footwork when you really just stood on the ground.
Let's hope that we can see more of that. Actually, Saldua tried to replicate the same thing.
Didn't end up yet in the same result.
This 3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Chester Saldua showing us that he has a 3-pointer as well. Something that you would also develop in the 3x3 scene. Practically all skills kailangan meron ka dun.
It's the versatility in the 3x3 division that is really gonna be something talagang mahahasa because you are forced to play all positions. There's no point guard, there's no center. It's a smaller court for you guys because you have to play everything.
Actually, nakwento pa nga sa akin ni Nico Salva last year na ang uso na nga ngayon sa 3x3, palakihan ng pyesa. So, may mga lineups na puro big men.
Yes.
And then, bahala na silang ma-develop yung guard skills dun sa larangan na iyon.
And you actually look at just this lineup that's coming off the 3x3 division. You have Salcedo is about 6'4". You have Saldua who's about 6'3". You have Apacible who's about 6'4" as well. So you do know the importance of size in the 3x3 division.
Asidre. Not too much size for him, but he is still very effective on the 5-on-5 scene.
Oh, this guy is a God-given shooter. Whenever he gets that space, usually it's a make para dito kay Rocky.
And he's back to playing that shooting guard position. One of the key things na pwedeng makuha ng Rizal with the arrival of Val Chauca. Chester Saldua scores again.
There's one thing they missed because of that injury. We were waiting for his debut here in the MPBL, but when he got to Nueva Ecija, he was out for quite some time because of that injury.
But we have to remind everybody that Saldua is already a champion back in Season 3 with Coach Don Dulay and Davao. As Gamalinda fades and scores.
We asked for it, it was given. We wanted to see that patented footwork of Bam Gamalinda once again off that stop and pop.
This is a fast break opportunity. Chauca being chased by 2 players. He pulls back. Now they go to Rocky. Asidre for 3. Short. The lead is 5 for Rizal.
Rizal really wanted that. That was an open 3 para kay Rocky Asidre.
This is the same look for Eman Calo. Same result. No one was on him.
See the frustration kay Eman Calo. He would make that 80% of the time.
And especially from the same spot.
Yes.
Chauca from way out. Short. Rebound Bahio. Numbers for Nueva Ecija. Can they capitalize? JB on the 5-on-4. Bounce pass to Dakiwag.
What a good bounce pass by JB Bahio. 5 versus 4. If you have a big who can bring down that basketball, then adjustments will be hard para sa Rizal. You watch that here. JB Bahio, 5 versus 4. He played that point guard. 3 blue shirts. Good drop pass going to Ed Dakiwag.
This play of the game is brought to you by Suzuki. JB Bahio with his first time in this matchup. And Dakiwag now has 7 points on 3 out of 4 shooting. The lead has been trimmed down to 3 points. There you see the remaining regular season game for Coach Don Dulay and the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. They will take on the Pasay Voyagers inside the Caloocan Sports Complex on September 27. Do we still have implications in terms of seedings for that matchup?
For Pasay, this will still be very crucial as Caloocan is trying to knock on the door. But for Nueva Ecija, I think they are locked at number 3 already in that position.
Well, in this game, it's Rizal trying to secure that number 8 seed, as Val City and Quezon City are watching and praying for a golden cooler loss. It's Byron Villarias from downtown.
Byron Villarreal, that is the first 3 of the ball game. He played terrific defense to start the first quarter, but didn't really get a lot of opportunities to score. But here on his return, early shot para dito kay Byron.
It's a dozen dimes now for Nueva Ecija, and back to Byron Villarias. He played a season-high 22 minutes for Abra, which means a lot already, because that guy has missed half of the games of the Rice Vanguards this season. Of course, we can still factor in their depth, so nag-rotate yung players nila. But if you're Byron, you'd want to continue playing.
Yes, of course. He's been the face of Nueva Ecija for quite some time, especially that a lot of players really switched teams. He was still one of the staples, so you do know that he will still play a big role for the Rice Vanguards moving forward.
The ball went out of bounds. Rizal will keep possession. We're tied at 31.
And after a big offensive quarter, we watch here in the second quarter, it's defense that's been the name of the game. Good challenge, very physical, but no whistle. Play will continue on.
So that's supposed to be a block for Vince Magbuhos. Baseline for Coco Pingoy. Who will the option be for Rizal? He almost lost time there. Pingoy inside. The pass was a bit too wide.
Medyo nagmadali lang doon si Jerry Pingoy. That could have been a good option, but he was just a tad bit early. He saw that there was someone who fronted his teammate, giving that cutting lane. Just a little too early. It will end to a turnover.
It's number 6 for Rizal compared to the 2 of Nueva Ecija. Screen by Celis. It's a miscue between him and John Wilson. And now, a foul will be given up to stop the break. And John apologizes to Robbie.
Looks like that was not really the option. John Wilson just knew that Robbie Celis will also be getting a lane. Robbie Celis wanted that kick to the left wing. That's just a little miscommunication. I like how they handled things.
Yeah.
Pag-uusap. That's just veterans for you.
And after all, I did have this conversation with John Wilson before this game, with him telling me about his acceptance of a new role in Nueva Ecija. Alam naman niya that he's not going to be the face anymore in this franchise as Pingoy misfires. He wants to rebrand himself as a 3-and-D player, which was his branding back in his pre-MVP days in JRU. As he misfires from downtown, there's a rebound, no putback. Byron, second try, wala pa rin. Counter, Alvin Alday. He's been quiet so far, and as I say that, he just scored on his second field goal.
Patented floater para dito kay Alvin Alday. When he has that space, even off a run, he really can take that float.
That's only the second shot attempt for Alvin Alday. Byron Villarias is feeling it.
This is a rhythm shooter. Etong si Byron Villarias. All he needs is to get one, and this guy gets going. I was covering a game last year where he got 5 in 1 quarter, so we do know the capabilities of Byron Villarias.
He's so streaky that even when he gets cold, streaky din yung
Yes.
pagiging palamig niya. There was a stretch last year where he was cold for a month. And that was after being so hot for an entire season. The 4th season of the MPBL, which eventually gave him his finals MVP award.
That is the type of player. Itong si Byron Villarias. I remember watching him in his college days. There would be quarters where he would be scoring 18 to 22 points, and then a quarter where he would be only scoring 2. And he really is a streaky shooter. But given those opportunities, you really still have to close out on Byron.
Now he's trying to close out well against Craniel Viloria, who shoots and misses. Rebound, Magbuhos. 34-33, Nueva Ecija with the advantage. The biggest lead so far in this game is 6 points. Wala namang lumalayo pa. Byron again, no good. Jump ball.
It's a good challenge by Craniel Viloria, really closing down on that lane and on that shooting attempt.
This is Chris Piton checking back in, replacing Eman Calo. We have a timeout for Nueva Ecija. They're up by 1. Almost 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Welcome back to the MPBL. It's still a blessing to go up against Nueva Ecija tonight and to still be in control of their fate as per Rizal head coach Ralph Rivera. Although he admits they are the underdog compared to a star-studded team all the way to its third group, ang kanilang motivation ngayong gabi, mas gusto at mas kailangan nila ang larong ito. And so the Golden Coolers prepared to be a more disciplined squad this time with every possession and not waste any chance. Before this game, naging maganda naman raw ang practices nila as everyone were very competitive with each other. Simple lang ang sinabi ni Coach Ralph, whatever it takes. Migs Bonito?
Okay, that being said, as much as we've been talking about the turnovers of Rizal in this game, which is 2 more compared to what Nueva Ecija has, yung 5 nila in 18 minutes of play, is that still efficient for you?
Well, you know, after the first few minutes, yes, it's still very efficient. They were able to adjust well. They were able to recover here in this game. You see some injured guys right here in Billy Robles and Will Macaloni. Talking about going back to that point, yes, it's still very efficient.
As this free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Well, Rizal is on pace to have, what, 11 turnovers in this game? Hindi naman ganun kataas yun.
It's really just a bad start. You know, sometimes you cannot really tell the whole story after that first 2 minutes, but they were able to really protect that basketball after on. They were able to execute better. They were able to get better shots. They were actually 3 out of 3 to start the ball game.
This is Alwin Alday, able to score from downtown.
I've seen that too many times. Cranial Viloria creating for Alwin Alday. He really can gather up the defense and create a scoring opportunity para kay Alwin.
7 points now for the leading scorer of Rizal. Well, that was the first dime of Cranial Viloria. And off of the stop, the pass was a bit too long for Alwin. Counter with Chris Biton. Almost a dribbling violation there. Biton turning around, going to Robbie Celis. He has a mismatch inside. Villarias able to score.
Not really a lot of occasions where we will be seeing the post moves of Byron Villarias, but he knew that he had that size advantage and he was able to take it and get that 2 points.
This could be a scary sight for the contenders in the North Division if Byron Villarias starts to get hot.
He has 8 points all in this quarter. Ito si Byron Villarias.
10 overall in this game for Byron. Robbie Celis unable to score. Rebound, Cranial Viloria. Rizal will push. There's a foul given up. And we're starting to feel and hear the intensity from the crowd and the benches in this game. Rightfully so, because this is a game with playoff implications. So it should be louder in the second half.
We did start a little relaxed on both of the sides. They really were trying to gauge what kind of matchup this will be. But after 2 quarters, we are feeling the intensity already. You see the defenses really upping up here in the second quarter. Less shot attempts.
Less points.
Less points.
Alday blocked by Celis. That's his second in this game. Chris Biton pumping his way through. Sorry, miss. But 2 free throws for him. Biton should be comfortable though playing in this venue because he used to be the star of Manila. He was a 1-time All-MPBL first team selection and a 1-time All-MPBL second team selection.
You do know the capabilities of si Chris Biton. He's been a star here in the league for quite some time now.
It was him and Aris Dionisio that formed the duo of Manila back in the pre-pandemic days. Warning given up to the Golden Coolers. Pingo is still unhappy with that call as he tried to draw the charge.
He got one earlier off Vince Magbuhos, but he had an earlier head start than Vince. Here in this last situation, he was just right beside itong si Chris Biton. So it's really going to be very hard to get a charge when you are that close.
First free throw converted by the 91% free throw shooter. Are we going to jinx it? The answer is no. Good for you, Chris Biton.
Medyo natakot na ako.
Double team against Bingoy. Now it's back to a 1-on-1. 13 seconds before the end of the first half. Coco Pingoy zigzagging, a three-pointer. Yes, sir!
That is what got him his MVP in the juniors division. Once again, showing his skills here to try and secure that 8th spot. Off to... Oh, naubusan na ako ng things to describe. Let's just watch how tough that was. Off the screen, off the second screen, there was 3 white shirts who tried to defend Jerry Pingoy, but that is all skill, all talent for the former MVP.
At alam ninyo kung paano nawalan ng mga salita si Juanito Gregorio? That's because tumingin si Jerry Pingoy sa kanya after that 3-point conversion. It is now 40-39. This halftime score is brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. It's a very tight game with a difference of 1 between Nueva Ecija and Rizal. It is 40-39 after a defensive second quarter as Juanito broke down to us in that frame. Here we have our statistics inside the San Andres Sports Complex.
A 1-point lead para sa Nueva Ecija. It's a story of two tales here. Very good start by Rizal. Very good start by Nueva Ecija in the first 2 minutes, but Rizal quick to answer. And then a defensive second quarter we had. The efficiency going the side of Rizal. 3-point shooting also going the side of Rizal. But Nueva Ecija able to get a lot more assists in the ball game, giving them a better team distribution here. But Rizal as well, also +4 on that second chance points. But these numbers doesn't really tell how physical and how up and down this game has been. It's been very exciting here because we do know how important this is para sa Rizal.
Golden Coolers are looking to improve their record to 15-12 as they do have Val City and Quezon City behind them with similar 13-13 records. And those two teams have winning streaks happening for themselves. So everybody's just peaking at the right time. And speaking of peaking at the right time, this guy has given us a throwback into his Season 4 form in Byron Villarias. He's in double figures with 10. Sadua and Dakiwag combined for 14, and it's Robbie Celis with 6 points to his name. This is with Will Macaloni out for this game, alongside Jay Collado, Lucas Cullar, and Billy Robles, as broken down by Sidney Crespo. And then on the other end, it's Coco Pingoy, as you mentioned, back in his high school form, with 8 points to lead the way for Rizal, 7 for Alday, and 11 combined for Viloria and Balagtas. But as you can see, Juanito, yung 4 top scorers ng Rizal ay nagagaling sa kanilang starting 5.
Yes, as usual, it's really going to be their starting 5 who will be doing a lot of the work in terms of scoring. Gamalinda tried to help out, but still, it's going to be this 5 who will be doing the load of scoring.
It's not too bad because the difference in bench scoring is only 1 for Nueva Ecija.
Before the start of the third quarter, we actually have a good crowd for a game without a home team.
Yeah.
It's a quite a sizable crowd here in San Andres.
Well, we did talk about it last Tuesday when we had our neutral ground inside the Paco Arena. Dahil naman talaga sa mga Manileños na passionate sa basketball. We're having our games here, and rightfully so. People have witnessed the greatness of the MPBL as we got to see the first basket in the second half in favor of Rizal. Tomorrow, the action will come to you from the Alonte Sports Arena as Byron Villarias is feeling at home.
Rhythm, streaky, everything that can describe itong si Byron Villarias. 13 big points already here in this ballgame.
That was 3-pointer number 3 for Byron out of 6 tries. So that's a good percentage. 50% off of the miss by Pingoy. They're back with Byron. Forward to Celis. Forward to Magbuhos. What a play by Nueva Ecija.
Good early break coming from Nueva Ecija. This is how they started the ball game. Vince Magbuhos, one of those guys who really can finish that early break.
Here's Marco. Check that. John Apasible tried to hand it off to Alday. Recovery for nobody. It's Rizal who will keep possession, but they only have 5 seconds remaining on their shot clock.
Oh, John Wilson, this is the way he started the ball game, getting those steals in.
This fast break of the game is brought to you by SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max. Nagmukha siyang 3-man weave para sa Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards.
And once again, that assist will go to Robbie Celis. It's really going to be the 4th assist, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for the veteran in Robbie Celis.
Almost a steal by Byron. Viloria feeds Balagtas. That's his shot. He gets the bounce.
Good quick play coming from Rizal in that last play. They were quick to realize that there were only 4 seconds on the shot clock.
The chemistry is practically instinctive nowadays for the starting 5 of the Golden Coolers. John Wilson at the corner. That's a 3.
Well, he's been showing the D. Now he shows the 3. Trying to rebrand himself as the modern day 3 and D. Now John Wilson doing both perfectly here in the third quarter.
Would you actually believe that even though he's rebranded himself, he still is the 3rd leading scorer of Nueva Ecija?
Oh, no. This guy is just such a talent. Ito si John Wilson. Whatever you need from him, he will be providing for your team.
Just so it's clear, it's Macaloni number 1, Celis number 2, and then it's Wilson and Ayaay tied at number 3 as the leading scorers of the Nueva Ecijanos.
How deep is this team even as we see that drive coming from Robbie Celis, once again locating his teammate on that right corner. But how deep is this team? We're talking about those 3 top scorers, and in this game, guys like Chester Saldu are helping out. Ed Dakiwag is also helping out. Byron Villarias is back in the mix. That's going to be the depth of Nueva Ecija. Very, very scary all towards the playoffs.
But Robbie Celis has to remind us that he still is that main guy for the Rice Vanguards, especially if Macaloni is sitting down. Umabot yung conversation namin sa kanyang quote na kapag naglalaro si Will Macaloni, one of the priorities of Robbie Celis is to feed him first. Kailangan kung may pagkain sa table, unang makakain si Will. So biniro ko siya. Eh wala si Will Macaloni ngayon. Sino unang kakain? At tumawa na lang siya. Alam mo na kung sinong sagot niya.
Well, he is number 2 for a reason. He is always the secondary option in terms of scoring for this team. But so far here, he is doing everything. Para dito sa Nueva Ecija, he has 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Back with the Rice Vanguards, they're up by 7. This should be the biggest lead in the game. It's been that tight as John Wilson converts, extending the lead to 9.
All of a sudden, offense is on point para sa Nueva Ecija. A very slow second quarter in terms of scoring. But here in this quarter, everything they want, they are getting. Outside, inside, running game. Everything is working for the side of Coach Don Dulay, and he is happy on that bench.
Well, his starters have gotten the better of the starters of Rizal. You can see it in the plus-minus. 52-43. This fan of the game is brought to you by Jinky Skin. There you have her present at the sideline. I think she's from the Nueva Ecija crowd here inside the San Andres Sports Complex. Sa tagal ng liga natin, nakikilala na natin yung partners eh. Pero minsan nagdududa pa rin tayo. That could have been John Wilson's wife, for all we know, as now we feature John Wilson, who scored 9 points out of his 10 in the second half versus Abra.
10 points, 9 in the second half. Of course, one of the reasons why they mounted that comeback. Don't see John Wilson, but here today he has 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Well on pace towards getting his averages.
I'm trying to get confirmation kung asawa nga niya yun.
Mahirap namang magkamali.
Ayoko na magawa ng drama on air.
We do have 29 teams here in the MPBL.
Seems like it though. Mukhang kamukha niya naman. We're looking at the Instagram profile of John Wilson.
I think so.
At this moment.
Think so. I'm not quite that sure, but probably our cameramen know better.
Actually, they would know better. As now it's Chris Biton committing the foul against Val Chauca. There's a wet spot. And referee Carol Guay will ask for assistance. We cannot push through if there's a wet spot.
And safety among everything.
Especially when you talk about these two teams. These two teams have been bothered by injuries this season. Nueva Ecija started their campaign practically with only one half of their squad because the other half were tired from the PSL.
Oh yes, tama.
And then this Rizal team, of course, suffered injuries to their starters in Pingoy, Viloria, and Balagtas. As now it is a turnover for the Golden Coolers. John Wilson will pick up the foul, 2 free throws.
Love the aggressiveness coming from John Wilson here in this quarter. All of a sudden, he is turning on the Jets offensively.
I'm starting to think that this could be an edge for Nueva Ecija in the playoffs. The fact that they have the veteran players in the MPBL. Established na itong mga to eh. They know how to win. They know how to compete at the grandest stage. And if they all just gel together at maximum come the playoffs, then they could be more dangerous.
Really, there's not really a big change para sa Nueva Ecija. They still have Will Macaloni as their face. Now you add on John Wilson. Now you add on Robbie Celis. So this is going to be a very, very deadly team come the playoffs. We are loving the system of Coach Don Dulay. And they are number 3 for a reason itong Nueva Ecija.
They have outscored Rizal 14-4 in this frame. That's why they're up by 11. That's a charge called on Marco Balagtas, who wants a challenge.
I think that is a charge on Marco Balagtas. He was moving right after that handoff.
John Wilson is no stranger, though, to drawing charges in the MPBL.
He lived and died with that. That's one thing you love about John Wilson. He is up there in age, but his defensive intensity never changes. He's putting in the same effort. He's sacrificing his body. And because of that, they're getting a lot of extra opportunities here.
That was turnover number 9 for Rizal. We're back with Chris Biton. Screen by Celis. Nice play. And that left John Wilson wide open at the left.
You know, here the third quarter, Migs, you were talking about how he wanted to rebrand as a 3-and-D. Pinapakita talaga niya dito sa third quarter that is his role, and he's playing it perfectly here.
That's 2 threes for John Wilson now in this game. He's up to 12 points. Wilson getting the board and the save. The lead continuing to increase. This is the biggest already. Biton to Celis. Robbie. The walking mismatch will slow down. Back to Chris Biton. 2-man game. 9 on the shot clock. Biton bounces. Celis feeds. Nice block by Apasible.
Almost a highlight for Nueva Ecija. That actually could have been a layup lane para kay Robbie Celis. Just a little too sharing on that last play, but the ball will return to Nueva Ecija.
This 3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. And that is what's good about having Robbie Celis. He's a playmaker at the big man position. As Chris Biton almost got the putback. And now there's a jump ball in favor of Nueva Ecija.
Rocky Asidre not happy with that call.
Oh, he thought that he was able to pull that ball away already. So it's going to be a baseline inbound. Chris Biton, CB will take it out. Still no subs with the starters of Nueva Ecija in the third frame. Almost a steal by Chauca. Wilson from the sideline. On to CB. Biton down the middle. Biton will miss.
That's a push.
Nahuli si Vince Magbuhos.
That's something you will learn from your veterans. Mahirap lang gawin sa harap ng referee.
Yes.
That is right in front. That slight push off the back. And as a short guy, that is also my style. So
Yeah.
sometimes you get away with it, but most of the time the referees will be sharp.
It's harder to get away with it if you're a big.
Yes.
Here's Val Chauca. Up top to Chad Alonzo. 12 on the shot clock. Asidre trying to dance with Saldua. Rocky extends and scores. Basket and one.
And I was just going to say that was good defense coming from Chester Saldua. But that was better offense coming from Rocky Asidre. His defender way taller, much more athletic, but it's pure talent and skill. Between the legs, 1-2, left hand finish. Foul counted para dito kay Rocky Asidre.
And he even had a stare afterwards. Can we see it? Ah, wala na. We move on to the bonus for Rocky Asidre. One of the guys whose transfer in the mid-season really benefited his individual play from Muntinlupa to Rizal. Tumiming pa sa pilay ni Coco Pingoy. And so, he's back to his peak form here in the MPBL. Nakiwag, Calo to Celis. Eman calls out the play. He says 3. He gets it back. They swing it over. Leading on to a 3-pointer. A miss though. Wilson feeds. Celis will finish.
That's going to be the weakness of the zone defense. There will always be open spots to get offensive rebounds. John Wilson was able to locate that ball, able to drop it off to Robbie Celis.
That was assist number 21 already for the Rice Vanguards. They're number 3 in the league in dimes per game, averaging 26. And we still have 13 minutes to go. Eman Calo. Cross court, Salcedo unable to save it. Here's Chester Saldua inside to Robbie Celis, who's fouled. But Rizal wants a challenge.
Coach Raf not looking to challenge here.
Back to free throws for Robbie Celis. He's perfect so far from the line, 2 out of 2. 8 points and 5 assists for the All-Star of Nueva Ecija. There's their other All-Star in Will Macaloni, ating All-Star MVP. And now let's go to our All-Star courtside reporter, Sydney Crespo.
Thank you, Migs. It was a busy halftime huddle for the Rizal Golden Coolers as Coach Ralph Rivera corrects some of their mistakes from the first half after starting flat and committing several turnovers. Paalala ni Coach Ralph na huwag magpanik dahil isang mali lang ay malaki ang kapalit sa Nueva Ecija. Ultimately, he asked them to be smart and stay composed because they've cracked under pressure in the end game before, and the Rice Vanguards will not hand them this win. Kailangan raw mas gusto nila ang panalong ito. Migs, Juanito.
There you have it. The continuous and consistent sense of urgency from the Rizal Golden Coolers. The problem is, it has been a much better third quarter for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. The scoring in this frame is 21-7. That's the biggest difference among all quarters so far. We have a coach's challenge, therefore we'll take a short break.
The challenge of Nueva Ecija was unsuccessful. Foul on Chester Saldua.
It's a foul on Chester Saldua, who actually thought that he was the one who was hurt in that previous sequence. Ayun, natawan yung kanyang jaw. And that's why they're still trying to plead their case to our referees. Hearing some frustrations, Coach Don is at the half-court line. Now the good thing is, for the Rice Vanguards, you're up by 15. 3.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. So at least that gives them some room to breathe.
That's why all the players are quick to pull out itong si Coach Don. Coach, we don't need the technical. We don't need extra free throws for your opponent.
And I like the fact that it was Eman Calo.
Of course, one of the most cool-headed guys.
Yeah. Here's Val Chauca at the line.
Missed 2 already.
Coach Ralph Rivera not looking too happy. After all, if you heard the report of Sydney, you wanted a complete reversal.
Yes. It's going to be hard to beat itong Nueva Ecija, especially as a complete team. So everything has to get going for you. All of the right steps has to be there. But so far here in the third, it's Nueva Ecija playing the right way.
It's now a zone. Let's see if this will work for Rizal. Hand off to Eman Calo. Pass to the other end. Dakiwag for 3. Too strong. Rebound Celis at the right place at the right time.
Mr. Complete Package for Nueva Ecija. Anything you need, he will produce. Robbie Celis in this ballgame. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. Offensively, defensively, completo si Robbie Celis.
And he's so consistent as it's Ralph Salcedo with the 2+1 opportunity. Robbie Celis is so consistent na minsan di mo na nararamdaman.
Yes.
Na nasa double figures na siya.
You know, a lot of times where I need to pick a best player of the ball game. He's not really that impact player for the game. But you look at his stats, you can't say no. Too complete of a player itong si Robbie Celis. And that's really a big up for Nueva Ecija, especially coming to this season.
Salcedo at the line for his bonus. This is only the 7th free throw for the Golden Coolers in this game. Emancalo will bring it down. He's the backup point guard in this game for Nueva Ecija with the absences of Ryan Costello and Lucas Collar. I did hear that Ryan Costello underwent a recent surgery, so let's hope for his speedy recovery, as now the ball was tapped away in favor of Rizal, much to the dismay once again of the Nueva Ecija bench.
This zone is actually slowing down the offense of Nueva Ecija, but they've gotten 4 second chance points off that zone. So Rizal just has to be able to get those rebounds because they are forcing the stops, but they're giving up second chance points.
Gamalinda. He inbounds to Rocky Asidre. Salcedo. Defended by Bahio. Salcedo trying to lose him. Nice block by JB, but he's called for a foul. Apparently there was body contact.
I always love it if your big can put that ball on the floor and actually attack the opposing big. Ralph Salcedo saw that there was a driving lane opportunity for him to attack. Getting 2 free throws para sa Rizal.
He did miss just a while ago. Here's some retribution for Ralph Salcedo. 5 points now for one of the guys who was highly recruited by the Golden Coolers in the window. It took calls from almost all the players to reach him, to be able to recruit him to Rizal.
And just a funny story para dito kay Ralph Salcedo. During the window, I actually just saw him at a random restaurant. Kumamay siya. Bro, and then I asked him.
Siguro wala pa siyang team nun.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Sabi ko, bro, saan ka lalaro? Antay lang, bro. And all of a sudden, he was signed by Rizal. So just a random meet-up, but just good to see Ralph Salcedo being able to play terrific here.
Oh, JB Bahio with a chase down. Recovery for Bam Bam. And here's Rocky Asidre. They slow down at the corner. Gamalinda onto his cutter. Alonzo alone, bothered. Recovery for Bam Bam. That's a foul. How about JB Bahio getting some retribution?
I like this matchup between Salcedo and Bahio. 2 very versatile forwards for both of the teams. Earlier, Ralph Salcedo was able to get the foul. The next play after, Bahio says, not again, protecting that ring.
So that's the first block in this game for JB Bahio. Tito Bam Bam, as Wesley Gonzalez would call him, is now at the line. Gamalinda misfires on his first gimme.
Well, it's one of the only few times where I actually can see some reaction galing kay Coach Ralph. Usually a guy who's calm and composed. No panic button for Coach Ralph.
Well, free throw shooting hasn't been too kind for them. They're close to 50% from the line.
And this is a game where this could have been so much closer if they were able to make a lot more shots.
Press break by Nueva Ecija. Up top they go. Emancalo. They swing it over. MJ Ayaay. Leaning in. Yes, sir.
It's a good ball movement galing dito sa Nueva Ecija. All 5 guys getting a touch of that basketball.
Back with Bam Bam. Bounce to Chad Alonzo. Alonzo tried to barge his way through. That doesn't work. Recovery for Emancalo. Cross court. Nice pass. MJ all day.
Too easy para dito kay Jasper Ayaay. Wide open on that 5 versus 3 opportunity. There was one blue shirt on the floor. Open 3 para kay Ayaay.
That's another guy who has fully embraced this new role for Nueva Ecija. I actually thought that, of course, coming from the PBA, he might have had high expectations for himself individually in terms of statistics here in the MPBL, but no, he also doesn't want the spotlight. Kanina nga, nung sinusubukan ko siyang interview, sabi niya, iba na. Okay na ako.
Those are the kinds of guys who has that star player numbers, but it's just playing his role perfectly for his team.
Here he is. Baseline drive and feed. Eman Calo tried to bounce it off. So that's off of Rizal. Baseline inbound now for Nueva Ecija with 4 remaining on their shot clock. Eman. Where will he go? Opposite corner. Nice play. What a play.
That was on the last second para dito sa Rizal.
70-53. Rocky Asidre cannot answer back. And that means Nueva Ecija will finish this frame having outscored Rizal by 16 points. There you see the top scorers of the Rice Vanguards. Byron Villarias, John Wilson, and Robbie Celis. No Will Macaloni, no problem.
The veterans who are making the biggest impact here para sa Nueva Ecija, and they really started out strong, especially in this third quarter. Villarias with the 3, eventually followed up by John Wilson to help him out.
These highlights of the game are brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Fourth quarter will be huge. Let's see if Rizal can mount a comeback.
70-53. This third quarter score is brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Presenting our Suzuki muscular and sporty fans of the game, just like the Avenus. Do more and achieve more with the muscular and sporty scooter from Suzuki. The Avenus. Oras na para magmotor. I believe that that's the significant other of Chris Viton. Ito na naman tayo. Take this time to make sure.
Start of the fourth quarter.
But we are beginning the fourth quarter here inside the San Andres Sports Complex in Manila. This is Mix Gomez alongside Juanito Gregorio and Sidney Crespo as there's a charge called on Rizal. Quarter scoring, a plus 16 for the Rice Vanguards in the third quarter. Obviously very unfortunate for Coach Ralph Rivera after giving out the instructions to his players, reported to us by Sidney Crespo in the third frame. And they do have the playoff implications in this game. If they lose, they fall down to 14 and 13. Which means, if Quezon City and Val City win their next games, respectively, tabla na ang ating tatlong koponan. And just so everybody knows, among those 3 teams, they have a record of 1-1 against each other. Which means, if all goes down the line, as Chester Saldua scores, at tabla sa record ang Val City, Quezon City at Rizal, point differential tayo among them.
That's why it's going to be a very, very tight race to that 8th spot here.
At ang reward mo lang naman ay either ang San Juan o Pampanga in the North Division. Ooh, takedown. Could that be against Eman Calo?
They're going to look at the faking a foul, technical foul here. I think the call is on Eman Calo.
Well, Calo held on to his neck the whole time. Let's see.
Oh yes, the hit was a little bit on the shoulder. Didn't really hit the neck, so sharp eyes by our referee. Pero kung bentahan lang ng acting, talagang si Eman Calo ang maano doon.
One of the most animated guys, one of the most entertaining guys that we have in the MPBL. If you want more from Eman Calo, just follow his social media accounts.
Yes, I do love this guy. A guy's always smiling. At character.
Minsan ka lang makakita ng MPBL player na rumarampa.
Yes. You know, this guy is such a good player, but his character just adds so much more spice to his life. Kaya, I'm a big fan of Eman Calo.
Siya rin ang kaisa-isang yumakap kay Sian Lim sa liga ng bawat Pilipino. Now he gets the steal. This is JB Bahio. No high-low. They go to Eman Calo. Two-man game. Calo will pull up. That's his moment.
Tells everybody, don't call a foul on me. I answer with a 3.
And the lead is 21. It should be the biggest in this game. Let me counter check. Yes, it is. What a second half for Nueva Ecija. Keman Calo continuing with his aggression. And that's the way to respond.
You just light up the fire dito kay Eman Calo.
There you see his longtime teammate and Billy Robles from Davao to Nueva Ecija. These Rice Vanguards are just having so much fun. After all, they're the third hottest team in the MPBL as of this moment, with a 5-game winning streak following the 8 games of Binyan and the 16 straight wins of San Juan.
Eman Calo, 5 straight points, 1 coming off the 3. This was the 3 before that, off the dribble. And after that, that was the drive para kay Eman Calo. Really felt the emotion after that non-call on his offensive foul.
Well, that's off of Cranial. Turnover for Rizal. That is number 13 for the Golden Coolers.
After a terrific first half para dito sa Rizal, things have just been a struggle for them here.
On the other end, it's been very efficient for Nueva Ecija as they score with another bucket, courtesy of JB Bahio. Nueva Ecija only has 4 turnovers and they're shooting about 50% in this game.
And that is why they are up big here. They're up 25. They're winning the second half by 24 big points.
They also have 27 assists, so that's already over their season average. And we have 7.5 more minutes to go as Eman Calo is called for another foul. At tinamanan niya na lang.
There's action between these two. Itong si Balagtas at si Eman Calo on that down low.
Ipapahinga na si Ginoong Eman Calo with a standing ovation from his bench. How about that? It's like it's his birthday.
Grabe. Talagang sa kanya pa nilapit ang tubig. I saw all the players. Kapag sinub out, sila kukuha ng tubig. But he got a standing ovation. He got his water given to him.
Buti hindi binuhos sa kanya.
Siguro pag nakashoot ng isa pa. baka nabuhos na kay Eman Calo.
This is John Apasible going to Pingoy. Now it's Alday, who's been relatively silent in this game. A miss for Alwin. He only has 8 points on limited shots. 5 attempts for Alwin Alday. Mocon, no bounce. Rebound, Saldua. Foul given up by Coco Pingoy. And you can just feel for these Rizal Golden Coolers. Chauca will return. Baseline inbound for Kenneth Mocon. They go to Dakiwa, catch and shoot. No good. Rebound, Viloria. Up ahead, Alvin Alday. Viloria will fire. You know, his shots have been off of bounces.
Yes.
In this game. Kahit nung first half.
It's not the usual we see. Dahil ito kay Cranial Viloria, we're just swishing it through. But you know, he'll take it. These are makes at the end of the day.
That's 9 points for Cranial. Well, the problem is, he's the leading scorer of Rizal. As JB Bahio scores for Nueva Ecija. On the other end, for the Rice Vanguards, Bahio already has 4. And a total of 5 players have scored off the bench. So a total of 10 scorers now for Nueva Ecija in this game. And the lead has ballooned onto 24 points. Let's compare the performances of Alvin Alday today and previously versus Imus.
43 points in that last game, shooting 32 attempts, but here only 5 attempts para dito kay Alvin Alday. You see the frustration coming from his face right here, the emotion because of how important this game is.
On the other end, Nueva Ecija has looked like a well-oiled machine.
There's only one quarter where they really struggled, and that was that first quarter after the first 2 minutes.
It's not even too much of a struggle.
Yes,
they only lost the quarter by 1.
It's just a little slower on the side of Nueva Ecija, but everything else going their side, especially here, the third and the fourth.
They have outscored Rizal in the second half 41-18. In the first half, the biggest lead was only 6. Nueva Ecija will get possession once more. We've been raving about their assists. 27 already in total, and they've come from literally anybody. 5 from Celes, 3 from Wilson, 6 from Bitoon, 4 from Calo, and 3 from Ayaay.
I think that's the scary part dito sa Nueva Ecija. Anyone can create for anyone in their offense. Everybody is given that opportunity to actually get a hold of that basketball, try to look for the best option. If not, you can give it up, and it's the next guy up on their offense. And that's really been the way that Coach Don Dulay have been playing the whole season long.
That's why Nueva Ecija has one of the best offenses in the league. They average 86 points. That's the third most scored per game by a squad. They're number 2 in field goal shooting at 46%, number 3 in three-point shooting at 32%, number 3 in dimes, and number 2 in points in the paint at 42 per outing. At sa lagay na yan, third to the last pa sila in three-point attempts.
They're making it much more efficiently, as that is another easy drive for JB Bahio.
6 points now for JB. That's in 15 minutes of play. And as much as you argue that you'd want to see a young big man Vince Magbuhos shine for Nueva Ecija, that's also the same role of JB Bahio. Bahio was big time last year in the playoff run of Pampanga. At some point, he was the constant 1-2 punch at the big position with Balti Baltazar.
That's right. He is one guy who can create for the other bigs, and now it's going to be a good advantage now that he's playing with Robbie Celes and Will Macaloni. He can score, he can defend, and more importantly, he can create for your other bigs.
There's a miss by Ayaay, and here's Ralph Salcedo. 1-2. No basket. Bam Bam for the putback. There's a timeout for Coach Don Dulay. No relaxing, even though they're up by 22. Back inside the San Andres Sports Complex in Manila, there's Mitzi Santiago, who continues to support Val Chauca here in the MPBL. And ito po ang ating MPBL VIPs, Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes, Head of Security Rudy Distrito, Head of Operations in Emer Oreta, and Head of Marketing in Seth Hamora. A couple more beauties at the sideline. This is Mix Gomez, by the way, alongside Juanito Gregorio. And another beauty in Sydney Crespo, present for your MPBL Thursday. Later on, it's Sarangani taking on Batangas City. This follows the historic performance, by the way, of Philip Manala, who dished out 23 assists for Parañaque against Imus.
What a beautiful ball game we just witnessed in that last game. But here, talking about a beautiful ball game, it's Nueva Ecija who is playing a terrific game here.
There's a foul called on Val Chauca. You can't believe it. I actually thought that he was anticipating a charge already.
Feels that he got hit there.
And we do have a review going on. I like how our referees are reviewing. May sound effect pa sila.
Para alam nila kung saan tinamaan at
Yeah.
kung kailan tinamaan.
Oh, we have an exclusive view as well. Thank you to our floor director, Ton, for helping us out.
Oh, there was a pull down.
Yeah, we're going to show you guys, hopefully, what happened later on. Yeah, it was a bit chaotic between Val Chauca and Ed Dakiwag. I'm sure there was no malice. This does happen in basketball. Kakatamaan.
Especially the rhythm. See, he actually had his eyes closed. Itong si Ed Dakiwag.
So may sundutan na naganap.
Will the ball remain? Let's see the call.
We shall await the wonderful OG voice of Richard Campos.
There was a warning on Nueva Ecija, number 33, Ed Dakiwag, for unsportsmanlike behavior.
The second motion.
Okay, warning on Dakiwag, but still a personal on Val Chauca.
There was obviously a foul on Val Chauca, but he's trying to fight for his case na tinamaan pa siya pagkatapos. That is the warning. A second motion coming from Ed Dakiwag.
Here's Kenneth Mocon. Going to Dakiwag. There's a mismatch inside. Let's see if they can locate Saldua, but they're losing time. Dakiwag will shoot. And he gets the bounce.
That kind of a ball game for Nueva Ecija. Late in the shot clock. Well defended. Off a high bounce. Pasok pa rin para sa Nueva Ecija.
On the other end, Serrano bumping his way through and missing. Rebound to Dagangon. And here's Kenneth Mocon. Couple of guys ahead. No steal for Viloria. 3 players in for the Rice Vanguards. Couple of homegrowns. John Lee Valin, Clark Derigue, and Don Arenas, the most famous player in Palayan City, Nueva Ecija. Mocon, screen by Derigue. Watch out for the pop. Derigue attacking. He lost the ball. No foul. Forward to Chauca. Gal is fouled.
On the side of Rizal, I think they're also waving the white flag.
Yeah. A 4-man sub with Charles De La Cruz, Jan Salazar, Marvel Jimenez, and J-Boy Gob. So again, with this loss for the Golden Coolers, it makes Quezon City and Val City happy. Actually, Boss Bong Ora just messaged me, the owner of Valenzuela, as this free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. I'm sure, as of this moment, ang lalaki ang mga mata ni na Congressman Eric Martinez, Coach Egay Macaraya.
This gives them so much more motivation to play better.
Yeah.
All towards the season, they are now gonna be 1 game behind. Itong Rizal. This one of Rizal could have brought them 2 games further.
We'll try to check the schedule this week for the upcoming of Val City and QC. As there's a turnover forced by the Golden Coolers. This is Salazar giving it up to De La Cruz. Up top, Serrano. Jeric Serrano against Clark Derigue. Onto his cutter. De La Cruz is blocked by Valin. That's what he's known for. Caloocan pa lang, ginagawa niya na yan.
Oh yes, the length of the lane will always be there, standing at around 6'6".
Derigue. Trying to post up. Clark goes reverse. He was denied by the board. So to the schedule of Quezon City, they will take on Davao tomorrow in Binyan. Pretty exciting. And Val City will be back on their home court this coming Tuesday. So watch out for them. We're back with Derigue, former team captain of the UE Red Warriors. He gives it up to Kenneth Mocon. 2 minutes and 15 to go. Mocon with an opening. They go to Clark, specialty of the house. Too strong. Rebound onto De La Cruz. And here's Jan Salazar. The feed to Gob, who lost the ball. These last 2 minutes are brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball and partner of the MPBL. Basta ending, GameX.
Gab Dagangon trying to return to game shape. We know that this guy is a threat, but went through some injuries the past few seasons. But still here with Nueva Ecija.
He is the OG best player, the first best player of the game in MPBL history. Salazar with a tough feed, leading on to a turnover. I do want to ask you, in terms of how Nueva Ecija has executed in this game, and even their defense, are you actually more convinced with how they would look in the playoffs?
Well, you know, watching Nueva Ecija, we do know that one of the main threats will be their team basketball. And I am convinced that that will be a big threat moving forward para dito sa Nueva Ecija. But still a lot of things they have to be able to manage. Number one is the injuries. A lot of players have been in and out of that lineup. Number two, how do you match up with such a taller lineup in Pampanga or in all the other teams? It's sometimes you really see the height discrepancies para sa Nueva Ecija, but at the end of the day, this is still one of the most talented teams with one of the best systems here in the MPBL.
As it stands, Nueva Ecija is number 3. If the playoffs would start today, they will take on Caloocan, Batang, Kalu. Marami ng bigs sa lineup na yun. And additional bigs at that. That this would be... Oh, not a dunk. Nalungkot ang bench. Nueva Ecija attack. Sorry si John Libalin.
You know, the whole game, this is only the first time I'm hearing boos off the bench. Everybody with boos. They wanted that slam coming from John Revelin.
At least he made sure that he got the 2 points. 88-62 De La Cruz. Reverse. 2+1. We'll show you a highlight. This fast break of the game brought to you by Sports Max, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max. Nueva Ecija was ready for the max from John Libalin to no avail with a layup.
He got a little off balance before that dunk, but we were expecting a slam coming from Balin.
This is Clark Derigue giving it up to Kenneth Mocon. Should be the last shot for Nueva Ecija. High-low, intercepted. De La Cruz running. Charles attacks and feeds. J-Boy Gob will score. And this should be the final score. Coach Don Dulay and everybody else saying, don't shoot it anymore. 88-67. Victory number 24 in the campaign of the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. This is their 6th straight win, as the 3rd hottest team in the league behind Binyan and San Juan. On the other end, Rizal goes down to 14-13.
Very big win para dito sa Nueva Ecija. They are still protected at that number 3, but moving forward towards our season, you really want to be able to play every game terrifically. Another terrific game galing dito sa Nueva Ecija. On the side of Rizal, they're still at number 8. They're still secured at that 8th position, but they're only now 1 game ahead of Quezon City and Valenzuela. So a very exciting race to the 8th here in the MPBL.
The last game of the Golden Coolers will be against the Marikina Shoemasters, while Nueva Ecija will take on the Pasay Voyagers. Our best player of the game is brought to you by Daily Fantasy. Dito sa Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro. Do you want to give some shoutouts first?
Well, shoutouts, of course, to all the other guys. Robbie Celis played terrific. Of course, John Wilson also played terrific. Chester Saldua, you also have to credit for playing well. Ed Dakiwag, MJ Ayay, actually we have to shout out everybody really playing well, but one guy who really made a very big impact, especially in the 2nd and the 3rd quarter, offensively and defensively, is their streak shooter in Byron Villarias.
He's getting back to his old form. This final score is brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball and partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX, our Season 4 Finals MVP, is now with Sidney Crespo.
Kasama ko nga ang ating Daily Fantasy Best Player of the Game, Byron Villarias, with 13 points, 5 rebounds. Byron, congratulations. It was a close battle in the first half, pero tuluyan na kayong lumayo after scoring 30 big points nung 3rd quarter. Ano ba ang naging instruction sa inyo ni Coach Don coming from the halftime?
Una-una, thank you kay God sa binigyan niyang panalo sa amin. Lagi lang sinasabi ni coach namin ngayon, every game, hindi pwede bumaba yung laro namin kasi malapit na rin yung playoffs. Kaya every yung game na natitira naming laro, kailangan paangat ng paangat yung game namin.
Speaking of natitirang game, last regular game nyo na, ditong September 27, kalaban nyo ang Pasay. Medyo matagal pa naman, may time pa para magpahinga at mag-ready.
Yun na nga, ngayon muna, pahinga muna kami, saka na namin iisipin yung next game namin.
Well, Byron, deserve mo ring bumati at magpasalamat.
Thank you sa management namin, kay Boss Bong Cuevas, kay Ma'am Ryan, kay Ma'am Vian, kay Boss Ivan Cuevas, at saka lahat ng Nueva Ecijano, and sa wife ko, si Beverly, sa family ko, sa papa, mama, at kapatid ko sa Negros, sa Talisay, Silay, and mga kaibigan ko dyan sa Dubai and lagi nakasubaybay, and sa lahat ng mga nakakilala ko and lahat na support, nakasupport sa Nueva Ecija. Thank you sa inyo.
Congratulations ulit, Byron Villarias, our best player of the game, brought to you by Daily Fantasy. Sa Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sydney. Nueva Ecija with their 6th straight victory. Congratulations to them. Up next, we will feature Batangas City taking on the Sarangani Marlins. Batangas currently at number 3 in the South Division, looking to secure that spot because they have a tied record with Binyan Tatakgel. Thank you for joining us. For Sydney Crespo and Juanito Gregorio, my name is Mix Gomez at nagbabalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.